You've built a quite diversified portfolio that's in and out of around 1K a day. I'm sure that fluctuates quite a bit. Wanted to break that down and just kind of get some lessons or hear just kind of your journey through it and help inspire some people.
For sure. First of all, David's been awesome. Like
Yeah.
he's just been just great. But no, I was kind of like everybody. I lost a lot of money in the ROI Dapps during the last run. Um, and then I saw some of y'all's YouTube videos and I was like, I want to be a part of that. So um, initial goal is to kind of pay for a, I think I told you about this, but to pay for a house we just bought. So that's kind of my goal is
Cool.
doing DeFi projects and getting
Pay off
cash
some
flow
mortgages.
and then paying for that. So
What made you come back into the DeFi crypto game after getting, I guess, burnt by it?
uh, just I think it's a challenge, number one. It's a different source of income, number two, and it's like you don't want to let anything ever kind of beat you up. I'm really, I think I kind of follow a lot of your stuff as far as like mindsets. I'm always reading like self-improvement books and business books and things like that. And it's like, what did I do wrong here? What can I do better? And is there a way to do it without like risking as much stuff? Which this has been great about this. Telling my wife, I was like, man, it's really not fair. I grew up in a rural community, kind of everybody's just ranchers or farmers, that kind of stuff. It's like it's really not fair. I made more in
Yeah.
really in like a week than a lot of people are making in a whole month. I was like, man, it's just like, and people don't know about this kind of stuff, and it's just really
Yeah.
interesting.
I almost every person I meet who starts making money, I'm talking like what you just said, like, well, I made more in a month than a year, or I made more this week than people did last month. I remember not being able to accept that because it was such an identity shift for me and where my entire family comes from that I felt bad about it. I was like, dude, I feel bad. And I'd always find some way to screw it up and go
Sure.
back to, being who I believed I was, which was, someone who just struggles, like struggle. There was a belief in me that the struggle was, it was noble. And at one point I just started questioning that. I'm like, my success isn't taking away from anyone else's. In fact, it's just going to start inspiring people around me if I share it. Like, not from an egotistical point, but just show people what I made and start opening some minds to what's possible. So thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people who do
Uh,
well, they don't come from money, and it's such a big a lot of people don't get that. And so when you start cash it in stuff, it kind of feels weird because it's they call us new money. It's like
sure.
we don't know
Sure.
what that's like. So
Yes.
thanks for sharing that. I think that'll inspire people to what's possible.
Well, man, your YouTube has been great, a great source. Also, I want to tell you thanks. Also, man, it's and then of course the community's been even more help. But I
It's a
kind of got
strong
started on
community.
yours, just kind of seeing seeing what's possible, and like once you open your mind and kind of see what's possible, man, like I feel like, especially the way you are showing us, it feels like the sky's the limit.
Tell me if I'm freaking talking out of my ass here, because I'm happy to be challenged on this, but the returns and liquidity, I can't find a better investment unless you're thinking a decade out. If you're thinking a decade out, then maybe you can. There's a lot of opportunities for that. But if you want to be profitable in 3 to 6 months or instantly, if you like, I'm just like, even the returns for my assets that I bought, when I look at every investment I've made over the last 3 years, when I look at my crypto investments, they have outperformed in like almost every category.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally agree. Like, we have one long-term rental house, and I made more this last month than that house will make this whole year.
So what about some lessons? Because I think a K a day is, you are, in my mind, you're operating when you start crossing $100 a day, I think you start operating it like a business, or you should be. And I think a business will only be as successful as its systems. I think humans will too. So maybe share some lessons, because I think 1K a day, a lot of people can't wrap their head around it. But if you had to share some lessons or maybe some feedback for someone who's trying to get there.
There's a tendency, especially a lot of us in DeFi, I think I speak for myself, but there's a tendency to, once you see some good profits, like, hey, why
Yeah,
don't I
yeah.
just throw everything into this thing? And I would have done well with it, but I think I learned that last time, just to kind of have a bunch of different other
So
projects.
good. And Dexes, because I'm guessing you're talking Orca for that specific one. And I get queasy when I see too much in any single DEX other
Yeah.
than Uniswap. If someone's 100% Uniswap, I sleep well at night. But when I start seeing too much, I think Orca and these DEXs are solid.
Yeah.
They're just not as solid as Uniswap.
Well,
And
yeah, and then you just want to make sure like you don't have it in one spot. So yeah, I have Orca, Trader Joe, and Uniswap is what I'm on right now.
sweet. And PancakeSwap actually has some good stuff if you have the time
I
to
have a
check it out.
small, like, just a very like I have like
Cool.
$500 in
Cool.
PancakeSwap, just because I
Cool.
didn't really know it yet. I was just trying to learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically wake up and check it. I don't have to. It's just I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like Christmas every morning, like seeing where it came from. I wake up and check it, and I check it at night and just see if they're in range. The other thing I would say is one time I got too greedy on Sol and set like some super narrow ranges, and it was converted out just like that.
Instant. Yeah, you can do like 3-4% sometimes if you get a little greedy,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
so
It's
good.
fun though. I was telling David this. It's fun.